In Grimm Fairy Tales, Sela has finally been reunited with her long-lost boyfriend Eric, but as it turns out, this motherfucker Eric is evil as he's been corrupted by the forces of the Dark One. Grandmaster Shang ups his blade and charges Eric, but as their swords clash, Shang gets punched in the face and kicked in the mouth and put down. Several more Realm Knights would charge Eric, but it's no use as one by one they all get their asses whooped and they get put down till it's no one left but Eric and Sela. Sela asks Eric why is he doing this, but he tells her because the Dark One commands it. Eric ups his blade as he intends to end Sela's life, but before he can kill her, he abruptly stops. The real Eric seemingly comes back as he drops his blade, as he knows this is not him. But unfortunately for Eric, he would get his ass hit with a death note from the Pied Piper as he collapses to the floor, incapacitated. As Eric lays on the floor dying, the Pied Piper pulls out a magic wand as several more Realm Knights converge on him. See, the Pied Piper is after an ancient relic known as the Casket of Provenance. The Piper would use that wand to cipher energy out of the ancient relic in order to open up a portal and make it to the Dark One. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Belinda and Baba Yaga have just teleported and they've now touched down in the big city. Now, Belinda is like, what the fuck are we doing in Beverly Hills? But for some reason, this bitch Baba Yaga seems to know this is where the Dark One is going to end up. But elsewhere in Las Vegas, Cinderella is bored as she's under the employ of the Dark One and the Demon Lord Orcus. But Cinderella doesn't give a fuck as she just wants to go kill people. Cinderella's masters explain that the Dark One has been planning this for thousands of years, and now he has a big ass army, and they're headed to Earth in order to enslave humanity, and Cinderella's gonna help, seeing as she's one of the top assassins. Now, right on cue, the Pied Piper shows up using the power he siphoned out of the Casket of Provenance. Now, the Pied Piper only has enough power left in that wand to open one more portal, and they're gonna use it to ambush the heroes in the Realm of the Mist. Now, back in the mist, Sela's distraught, seeing as her boyfriend Eric is dead, felled by the hands of the Pied Piper. But the heroes and the Guardians know they must destroy the Casket of Provenance before the Dark One can use it to open up a portal to Earth. Grandmaster Shang goes to check on Sela to see if he can help Eric in any way, but the heroes are already too late as the Dark One has arrived and the Dark One is on that ass. The Dark One says he's come for the Casket of Provenance, and he tells the heroes if they hand it over, they'll die quick, and they need to decide now because after thousands of years, he's not in a patient mood. Nisa, the hot-ass green fairy, tells Sela she needs to snap out of it as they need her help to fight the Dark One. Sela says she doesn't want to help if it's going to cost her everything. Nisa tells Sela that if she doesn't fight, she's pretty much just going to have to live with whatever fate befalls her, knowing she did nothing to stop it. Now, the Dark One grows impatient, and so he tells his army that the time's up, and they all charge the heroes with the intent to kill. Cinderella charges Realm Knight Blake and clashes blades with him, while Thane, the Realm King of Oz, prepares to engage the Grim Reaper Morgan and all his minions. Thane cuts down all the trash mobs, that way him and Morgan can fight one-on-one. As Cinderella clashes blades with Realm Knight Blake, Blake gets third-partied by the demon Pinocchio. But Blake would get some much-needed backup in the form of Hakan, chief of the tribes of Neverland, who throws fire projectiles at Pinocchio and backs his ass up. Shang confronts the demon lord Orcus, who's been waiting for this day, seeing as Shang killed his demon goddess a long time ago. All hell breaks loose as our heroes clash blades with the demon army, with the Dark One right behind them. Now the Dark One raises his hand and unleashes a swarm of locusts that obscures the hero's vision and ends up turning the tides of battle. Grandmaster Shang tries to charge up to repel the creatures, but as Hakan, chief of the tribes of Neverland, is blinded, he gets impaled through the chest by the demon Pinocchio that impels him through his stomach and his heart, ending his life once and for all. Cinderella charges Blake and knocks his blade out of his hand as she tells him that he's next, as Thane is being backed up by the Grim Reaper Morgan. But before Blake can be felled, Cinderella is blasted back by a magical energy beam as Nisa and Sela have now joined the fight. Nisa infuses Sela's sword in order to give her the power to destroy the relic, and Sela does just that as she uses it to destroy the Casket of Providence. As Nisa holds the demons back, she tells Sela that she needs to destroy her book, as her book is also an ancient relic that would allow the Dark One to travel between realms. Thane tells Sela to take the book and run, but Sela knows there's nowhere to run as she takes the sword and impales the book. A big ass burst of magical energy is unleashed and it blows everybody back and it incapacitates several heroes and demons. As the demon lord Orcus lays on the floor incapacitated, Shane picks up his blade, preparing to end the demon lord's life once and for all. But, much to his dismay, he's stabbed through the chest by Cinderella and then beheaded by Orcus. As the fairy Nisa is doing her best to hold the demons back, she gets charged by Cinderella, who ends up cutting her with her unicorn blade. With that blade, the fairy Nisa ends up getting corrupted by the forces of darkness and ends up becoming thrall to the Dark One. With Nisa under his control and the power to move between realms using the fairy, the Dark One prepares to mobilize his army in order to invade Earth. The Dark One divides his armies into three different regiments, one led by him, one led by the Grim Reaper Morgan, and one led by the Demon Lord Orcus. Nisa opens a portal, and the Dark One proceeds to make his way to Earth in order to enslave humanity. As Sela comes to, she sees Nisa has opened a portal, and so she goes to Nisa as she wonders what happened, seeing as Nisa is now a dark fairy. Nisa tells Sela that she's now a slave to the Dark One, and the only way to end this is to kill her. Now, Sela doesn't want to, but Nisa tells her she must, so Sela takes her blade and impales Nisa through the chest. In a big ass burst of reality warping magic, the demons are thrown back and the portal is destroyed. Now, the Dark One, as well as his first regiment of demons, did manage to make it to Earth, and the Dark One is pissed off when he sees that portal is destroyed. The Dark One tells his demons to slay everyone and not to stop until the entire city is bathed in blood. But what the Dark One is not expecting is to be confronted by Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga holds up a relic known as the Eye of the Cyclops, which sucks all the demons inside and makes the Dark One's army her own. Now, the Dark One doesn't know what the fuck happened as Baba Yaga and Belinda teleport away. With all his power drained, the Dark One is forced to revert to his human form. Now, Cinderella asks him what the hell happened, as weren't you planning this for thousands of years? Now, the Dark One's like, yeah, but Cinderella's like, well, you got your ass kicked pretty bad. The Dark One Malik says that may be, but his enemies keep making one fatal mistake. They keep leaving him alive. To be continued.